Welcome back to Alfond Stadium. We'll go ahead and give you the Leesburg Lightning starting lineup. They'll lead it off with the usual Eli Thurman, who will play in center field, followed by Julian Irizarry playing in left. The three-hole batter will be Ryan Jenkins at second base, followed by Charlie Keller playing in right. Reed Snyder will bat fifth and play at third base, followed by Marco Mueces in the sixth hole, being the extra hitter for tonight's ballgame. Cole Bolin will be behind home plate, catching, and he'll bat seventh. Batting eighth is James Strom playing at first base. And Nick Wroblewski will bat ninth and be the extra hitter. Rounding out the order will be Grant Jordan playing at shortstop. He is the 10-hole batter, all behind the starting pitcher for the Lightning, and that's Scout Updike making his first start in a Leesburg Lightning uniform. Once again, for the Lightning, Thurman, Irizarry, Jenkins, Keller, Snyder, Mueces, Bolin, Strom, Wroblewski, and Jordan.
And for the Diamond Dogs, it'll be Riley Kuhar, 2025 All-Star. He's been one of the more consistent pitchers for the Diamond Dogs, and productive as well. I'll read the numbers off for you. 3.81 ERA and 28 in the third innings, 23 strikeouts to go along with just 8 walks. And Vic, as you know, walks can be an issue for this Diamond Dog team, but Riley Kuhar does seem to have that under control. So hopefully that continues today. But with the 7-inning game, I think that benefits the Diamond Dogs just a little bit, because just knowing the outlook of the pitching staff, as their head coach, Jim Newland, usually does a good job of giving us the, projected pitchers of the game. They are a little short-handed with arms, so maybe won't have to ask too much of Kuhar, but just, his most productive 3 or 4 innings. Again, we'll see how things go. But, again, the rubber match here at Alfond Stadium, located on the Rollins College campus. Diamond Dogs are 6-23 and certainly need this victory. But looks like first pitch is just about to get going, and Kuhar delivers a first pitch for a strike to Eli Thurman. And, yeah, a fairly similar lineup, I feel like, for Leesburg. Again, Wroblewski's in there and Grant Jordan over at short. But other than that, it looks very similar to last night's. Cole Bolin moved down a couple spots, but that's really it. And we'll see what they can do today, as the last time they were here, Leesburg was shut out.
And I think that as we're getting closer to the playoffs, we'll start to see Coach Billing really start to be more consistent with his lineup. Of course, during the first couple of weeks of the season, he was shifting around guys. We saw Irizarry not too long ago playing 4 or 5 games, batting in the 8-hole, and now recently has moved back up to the 2-hole, where he's usually been tandeming with Thurman. Thurman will usually bat leadoff, but Irizarry has been a leadoff batter for the Lightning, especially in the first couple of weeks. So now I think it's more of a solidified starting order for Coach Billings, and I think that will remain for the rest of this regular season.
1-2, a little outside. Just to recap last night's game a little bit, Leesburg, obviously they scored first and were the only team to score, but it was, I feel like, a pretty close game, at least through the first 4 innings. As that ball is dribbled on the ground to third, Espiad tries to barehand and safe at first. Really close play, but Thurman ends up beating it out for the infield single. But just back to what I was saying, it kind of snowballed a little bit in the later innings. The Lightning were able to score 2 in the 7th, 2 in the 8th to complete the mercy rule. But the starter for Winter Park, Newt Rocky, I thought he did pitch pretty well. Again, there was a couple of errors, and ultimately the Diamond Dogs had more errors than hits. 4 errors in the box score to just 3 hits, and 2 of those hits came from Luis Rivero, so really the only guy that showed up with the bat. Kuhar checks over at Thurman on first. He retreats back nicely.
And an unfortunate base hit for the Diamond Dogs, or unfortunate base hit in terms of giving it up for Riley Kuhar. That ball not hit very hard at all, but Eli Thurman gets down the line so quick, not much Adonis Velez could do. And he made a perfect play, TJ. I think that's a bang-bang play and could go either way. I could have seen him being out by a quarter step, and then I could have seen him being safe by a quarter step. And luckily for the Lightning, they get the call on that last play.
So it'll be Irizarry stepping up. He's out in left field today. Kuhar checks over at Thurman again. Maybe Kuhar thinks that Thurman may take off. We will see here in a second. So, yeah, 7-inning game, and I don't know if Leesburg's played in any of these, but the Diamond Dogs certainly have. And you know what happens here in the Florida League. We were delayed, for quite a while with lightning. It didn't really rain, but, the Lightning stuck around in the area, which caused for the late start and eventually the 7-inning game.
So we should end about similar time than we would have if we started at 6. Actually, probably a little bit later. I was thinking for the Lightning, this is maybe even an early game considering they start all their home games at 7.
So third time that Kuhar checks over for Thurman. But for the Lightning's sake, as we talked about yesterday on the broadcast, they have 6 games in 6 days, and this could certainly help their pitching staff a little bit, the shorter game.
Right, and yesterday, Brian Berthoff's 5 innings on the mound to start really helped.
2-0 is downstairs, so 3-0 count here to Irizarry. Irizarry out of University of Pittsburgh. Hitting .271 this season, 13 RBIs. 3-0 is in there for a strike.
And obviously a good take. Irizarry has drawn 17 walks. That is just 2 under Trey Kraft, 3 under the leader, Ryan Jenkins, who has 20. So he finds himself on the base pass, it seems like almost in half of his at-bats or plate appearances.
3-1 from Kuhar is hit hard on the ground to second. Over to second for 1. On to first. Double play. So a nice turn there by Leanthony Santiago, the second baseman. Flipped onto Velez, the shortstop, who threw on to Collado, the first baseman. So we see Collado at first base again. But, yeah, that ball was hit really hard by Irizarry in a 3-1 count. And it is a 4-6-3 double play. And we saw that was a frequent thing that we saw here just a couple of nights ago on Thursday, is the Leesburg Lightning grounding into a couple double plays.
Yeah, 3 to be exact. It was a 5-3 double play, a 4-6-3, and a 6-4-3. So all 3 types of double plays were turned by the Diamond Dogs defense, and that was a big part of their success on Thursday, and the Lightning hoping to not have the same thing happen in this game, but already one ground ball double play, and a good job by the Diamond Dogs to turn it and erase Thurman and Irizarry at the same time. It could have been a walk to Irizarry, 2 on and nobody out for Ryan Jenkins. And Jenkins on the year his average has moved up a little bit, 244. Yesterday provided that 2 RBI single that ended the game. It was a run rule victory for the Lightning, and that was in the bottom half of the 8th inning. 2 outs, a 1-1 count, and Jenkins got the pitch he liked and was able to get both runners in to end the game.
2-1 to Kuhar is outside.
And I mentioned just a minute ago, Jenkins leads the team in walks with 20. He's played in every single game for the Lightning. He started in 23 of 27, so here is 24 of 28.
3-1 is going to be a 2-out walk for Jenkins to bring up the cleanup man, Charlie Keller.
And Charlie Keller, like Ryan Jenkins, has played in every single game so far this summer for the Lightning, but he is the only Lightning player to play and start in 27 of 27 games.
Yeah, third in the team in average at 280.
Yeah, it's gone down a little bit. He's had a rough couple of games.
First pitch is fouled back out of play.
Last night he was 0 for 3, did walk and scored a run, but he was also 0 for in the first game here back on Thursday. 0 for 4.
Yeah, Keller is one of 7 Lightning players to work more than 15 walks.
Right. They lead the team, or lead the league.
0-1 is hit hard on the ground to first. Collado right there will step on the bag. So the Lightning strand 1 runner, but after a leadoff infield single, Kuhar is able to induce a double play, and then a hard grounder to first ends the inning. Again, we head to the bottom of the first here at Alfond Stadium. Still scoreless.
That's TJ's dad in the hat, the big guy. Huge. He couldn't even fit in a door frame, bro. He's got to walk sideways. He played ball at Florida, I think, or Miami. One of the two.
Yeah, geez, big body. Is that him?
Yeah. Dude, waterfall this.
Why is it funky? Am I going to get cancer now?
I mean,
What about? Ooh. Ooh.
it's like soap.
Yeah. Oh. All right, can you bring us back so I can get their lineup?
Yeah.
Welcome back to the broadcast center. Diamond Dogs set to get their first at bat since we did not have time prior to the game. Just go ahead and give you guys the starting lineup for the Diamond Dogs. Leading off, it's going to be Roberto Odor. He's extra hitting today. That's a similar sign. He's been the leadoff batter for all 3 games of this series. Behind him, Alex Espiat playing third. The number 3 hole hitter is Luis Rivero out in center field. Tyler Boyesen is cleaning things up today. Ben Barrow, the man behind the plate, catching and hitting 5th. Adonis Velez, we saw him have kind of a tough night at shortstop yesterday. He's there again, hitting 6th. Batting 7th is Pierce Gladding out in left. And then we just saw Collado make a nice play to end the inning at first. He's batting 8th, and then the 9 and 10 batters are Lee Anthony Santiago and Alejandro Simo. So, again, Roberto Odor to lead off, Alex Espiat, followed by Luis Rivero, Tyler Boyesen, Ben Barrow, Adonis Velez, Pierce Gladding, Joel Collado, Lee Anthony Santiago, and Alejandro Simo rounds out the lineup.
Yeah, and the righty on the hill, Scout Updike, making his first start for the Lightning and just had 2 appearances in the bullpen so far on the season. He's pitched 2 innings, no hits, no runs, 1 walk, 3 strikeouts. So he is a late addition for Coach Billings, and his first game was back on July 1st. He pitched an inning, clean bill besides the 1 walk, and had 1 strikeout. His next outing was July 6th, pitched an inning, no hits, no runs, no walks, 2 strikeouts. So small sample size, but Scout Updike has checked off all the boxes so far.
Odor hits one hard on the ground to shortstop, and what a play by Grant Jordan. Again, a new face over at shortstop for the Lightning. Great play there by Jordan.
Now batting for the Diamond Dogs.
Yeah, Jordan is one of the later additions for the Lightning. Definitely doesn't play or hasn't played as much as guys like Jenkins or Sokaros, Ledger Pleasant as well. But Jordan has been, this is his 14th game, so he's played in a good bit of games, mostly at shortstop, and he is a sure-handed glove out there. Still struggling at the plate, but he is a go-to glove for Coach Billings, and he really trusts him at shortstop. And, hey, I talked about it in the last game. If you're not going to be producing at the plate, Grant Jordan has checked off every box on the field.
0-1 swung on a miss by the third baseman today, Alex Espiat. Espiat was named an All-Star. Has been scuffling a little bit over his last handful of games. 0-2 is downstairs, yeah. But just wanted to revisit that play by Jordan. It was hit hard by Odor in a 2-0 count, but he just got down to a knee, made a nice backhand, and, of course, the second part of that play is a strong throw. 1-2 is hit hard right back to the pitcher, Updike, who knocks his glove off, but he's able to recover and flip onto first for out number 2.
That was such a veteran play by Updike. When a ball is hit back to you like that, I mean, it's so hard not to get a little bit frantic, not to kind of overdo some things. And he knocked his glove off, quickly got the ball, and he knew that he didn't have as much time as usual and gave a long toss to James Strom, and it was in time. But a lot of players that aren't ready for the next level of baseball yet might get a little frantic and might have a tough time making that play, even though the ball is standing right there in front of him. But that was just a very veteran play and very confident on the mound and takes everything a little bit slower than some other guys.
That brings up Luis Rivero. Is at a 1-0 in for strike number 1. Rivero had 2 hits yesterday and 2 hits in the first game, so Rivero's had a pretty nice series thus far. His average sitting a little over 300, 306. It's a little inside for ball number 2. Rivero been one of the Diamond Dogs' most productive hitters, or probably the most productive hitter now that Gabe Young and Michael Graziano are out for the summer. 2-1 is hit out of play, foul.
And also that first play, Grant Jordan, a great throw over to first. It really wasn't much of a hop at all, but it was a great pick at first by James Strom. And it's just on both sides. The fielding from Grant Jordan's been terrific, and James Strom is such a good ball picker at first base.
2-2 to Rivero is in there for strike number 3. So for Scout, Updike gets a 1-2-3 inning. The Diamond Dogs record no hits, no runs, and we're still scoreless headed into the top of the second here at Alfond Stadium.
I can't even drink. I can't drink this. I don't know. Hopefully I'm not roofied.
Top of the second inning here at Alfond Stadium. QR again still out on the mound. This will be Reed Snyder to step up for Leesburg. First pitch is upstairs.
Yeah, Reed Snyder getting his average up to 311 in the past couple of days, 19 hits and 61 at-bats. Yesterday's game was 1 for 2 before he got taken out for TJ Sogros to come in and get an at-bat, but he also scored a run as well. And he's just been really solid for the Lightning.
And the only man hitting at a better clip than Snyder is Marco Moises, who is to follow. First ball put in play to Espiat over at third, and he's going to airmail the throw, and Reed Snyder will advance on to second. So likely will be an error on Espiat, which will give us the first men in scoring position this game. Another thing I wanted to ask you, because Marco Moises does lead this team in average, but it feels like he's in the 6-hole just about every single game. Is that just kind of by design, or?
That's just how it's always been. I mean, Moises has maybe had a couple of opportunities to bat in the 3-hole, but realistically, I think I've only seen him bat 4 through 7, and Coach Billings really likes him in the middle of the order. And I think it's, the main reason is because obviously he can go gap to gap and want him to have some couple guys on the base paths.
Barrow back picks, and he got him over at second. So a good job there by Ben Barrow, very alert, and he, back picks Snyder over at second for out number 1. So the error not too costly by Alex Espiat as the bases are now clear.
Yeah, just can't have that happen. I understand getting the secondary lead, but when you're almost halfway to third base, then Ben Barrow's got a really good arm, and he's going to test it, and almost caught Reed Snyder leaning a little bit towards third base. Not really sure why, but that was just a miscue. And Lightning have had a good bit of miscues on the base pass that have hindered their chances at scoring runs. And here had a great opportunity to run in scoring position, nobody out for Moises. And interesting enough, despite Marco batting towards the middle of the lineup, still has 10 RBIs, which is a good number. But guys like Charlie Keller with 15, Julian Irizarry has 13. You'd think Irizarry would have a lower number just because he bats towards the top or the bottom of the lineup, and Marco Moises is in the middle and just doesn't really find himself with an opportunity to drive in as many runs, or when he does, he just doesn't really hit them in as much. But it obviously isn't a huge problem at all. I mean, he's tied with Charlie Keller for the most amount of hits this season, and he's just always finding himself on the base pass. 457 OBP. 5
extra base hits as well. Payoff pitch is hit on the ground to the shortstop Velez, who fields it cleanly and throws on over to first for out number 2.
Now batting for the Lightning.
So after the leadoff man really reached second base on the air by Espiat. Kuhar records out number 2 on Moises, and that brings up Cole Bullen.
And, Moises is hitting over 300 with runners on and with runners in scoring position. So it is a little interesting to me that he doesn't have a couple of more RBIs, at least as many as Charlie Keller would have, but just might not have the opportunities that other guys in the lineup do have. But, as I said before, Moises doing his thing, and if runners aren't on and he's still getting base hits, that's no fault to him. That's just how it shakes out.
0-1 to Bullen is in the turf. This will be a 1-1 count here. Yeah, as I mentioned, Kuhar, one of a few, or really a couple, I should say, Diamond Dog pitchers that were named to the All-Star team. And he started the season out of the bullpen, and I think Coach Newland found out rather quickly that he can throw strikes, and that's what got him in the starting role, because the Diamond Dog starters were kind of really hurting the team's chances in some games, as that'll be a 2-out single by Bullen. Kind of caught him in on the hands. I'll bring up James Strom, the number 8 hitter. But yeah, so then Kuhar, he actually ended up recommitting to Florida Tech, and he's been a starter really ever since. 0-0 to Strom. First pitch is hit high in the air. Right fielder Tyler Boyesen comes down with it, and that'll be out number 3. So Leesburg strands Bullen at first on a 2-out single, but other than that, nothing doing as we head to the bottom half of the second here at Alfond Stadium.
Classes start the 25th, so around the 20th. Yeah. What? Why are we already taking out Scout? What the fuck? Yeah. All right, you ready? I'll talk a little about him.
Bottom of the second inning here, and it looks like head coach Rich Billings elects to go to a new pitcher pretty quickly here in this one, Vic.
Yeah, it's going to be Carson Hendrickson to come out on the mound. I knew Scout Updike wasn't going to go far in general just because it was his first start, but especially now that it's a 7-inning game, I think Coach Billings wants to get everyone in the game at least for a little bit, especially with 6 games in a row. We want to give everyone a little bit of a chance and make sure that nobody is being overpitched. But so far for Carson Hendrickson on the season, we saw him pretty recently. He's got a 7.36 ERA, 1-0 in 8 appearances, all out of the bullpen. 11 innings pitched, 13 hits given up, 9 earned runs, just 2 walks, which has been a good sign, and 13 strikeouts. His last time out was on July 6th, pitched an inning, and it was a clean one at that. No hits, no runs, no walks, and 1 strikeout.
Yeah, but the starter, Updike, did have a very clean first inning, tired the side. Boysen has a healthy cut for strike number 1. But it makes sense, as you mentioned, the 6 games in 6 days. It just, when we were in the open, we did mention that, Updike might give a little length just because it's a 7-inning game. But Rich Billings ultimately makes the decisions down there in the Leesburg dugout. 1-1 here on Boyesen is swung on and missed. So 1-2 count here to Boyesen. He's a fresh high school graduate headed to Stetson for his first collegiate season. 1-2 is in the turf for ball number 2 to even up the count. And for Boyesen, it's just his 6th game, only has 12 at-bats, but has a double and a couple RBIs. 2-2 is upstairs, so the count will run full here to Boyesen. Payoff pitch is fouled back by Boyesen.
And this might be one of the games where Carson Hendrickson maybe gets a couple innings, but I think at a certain point, Coach Billings is just going to toss an arm out there for every single inning just to get everyone a little bit of playing time.
Payoff pitch is a little upstairs for a leadoff walk for Boyesen. It brings up the catcher, Ben Barrow, who we saw in the last half inning make a nice back pick to get, I believe it was Reed Snyder. It was Reed Snyder after he reached on in there. So see what Barrow can do here. Same story for Barrow, only been here a handful of games. This is his 8th game, 20 at-bats. Hitting 300 though. And they've got him in a rundown, and that'll be out number 1. So the catcher, Cole Bullen, does the same thing that Barrow did last inning. Back picks down to first, and he caught Boyesen dead to rights, and Boyesen took off for second, and it was an easy throw for James Strom to make to the shortstop, Grant Jordan, who applied the tag for out number 1.
That was a terrific play. First of all, a great pick by Cole Bullen. I think that Boyesen thought that ball was going to trickle away. It was a slight hesitation.
Barrow puts one in play, headed foul, and it will be dropped by Charlie Keller. He had a beat on it. Looked like he got there in time, but the ball ended up hitting the ground.
What I was saying was it was a slight hesitation to come back to first, and it was like as if Boyesen nudged a little bit towards second base, and once Bullen saw him even just a slight flinch to go to second base, he immediately fired a strike down to first. And good job by Boyesen putting his head down and heading to second base, and really made it a close play. Almost evaded the tag by Grant Jordan, but was unable to. And then that last dropped ball by Charlie Keller, that's one that he probably would say he's supposed to grab, but it's tough nonetheless. You're going into foul ground, and ball's kind of trailing away from you.
0-1 is swung on and missed by Barrow. That sun's starting to creep out now out in left field. But a pretty nice day here. There was some clouds before and obviously some lightning, which caused for the delay. But 0-2 here is hit hard on the ground to Grant Jordan, who fields and throws over for out number 2. So back-to-back outs recorded by Jordan. That'll bring up Adonis Velez. And Velez is another Diamond Dog who has only played in a handful of games. This is just his 5th game. Been out short pretty much every game since he's arrived. Does have a double, though. See what he can do here with 2 outs. And as Hendrickson delivers a ball low.
Yeah, and Velez struggling at shortstop yesterday. 3 of the 4 errors were from him.
Swings through that one for strike number 1. So 1-1 here to Velez. Is hit on the ground to third. Reed Snyder right there and fires over for out number 3. So despite the leadoff walk, the Leesburg pitchers have still faced the minimum as the Diamond Dogs go down in order 1, 2, 3, and we head to the top half of the 3rd here at Alfond Stadium. Top of the third inning here. Still scoreless. Again, this is a 7-inning game. I'm TJ French, alongside me, Vic Maslia. It'll be the 9-10-1 batters due up for the Leesburg Lightning. First off is Nick Wroblewski, who's usually either catching or obviously EH. He's the EH today. And that may be a strategy implemented by Rich Billings so that him and Cole Bolin can switch defensive positions later in the game.
Yeah, usually at least 2 catchers in the lineup for Coach Billings. One will be the extra hitter, and then one will obviously have to do the catching duties. And Wroblewski has struggled on the year, just 6 hits and 34 at-bats, but he's walked 15 times. Him and Trey Kraft both struggling a little bit at the plate in terms of getting base hits, but there was 15 and then 19 walks for Trey Kraft, and they're getting on base at a .491 percentage, .492 for Trey Kraft.
Wroblewski quickly down 0-2 as that one misses a little bit away from Riley Kuhar's out for his 3rd inning of work. And the Diamond Dogs still looking for their first hit, while Leesburg has a couple but no runs thus far. As that's hit up the middle, Anthony Santiago makes a nice play to his right and fields it for out number 1. Again, it was headed up the middle but just not hit quite hard enough from Wroblewski, and that allowed for Anthony Santiago to range over and make the play. I'm going to bring up Grant Jordan, who we've seen made a couple nice defensive plays already in this one. First pitch is upstairs to Jordan.
And Jordan, another guy struggling at the plate, just 4 hits and 32 at-bats. But I said it before, and his glove is just really good at short, and that's the one position that in center field I would think that you might.
As that's stroked out to Santiago again, so back-to-back outs recorded by Lee Anthony.
What I was saying is, center field and shortstop are the 2 positions I think that you can afford not to have the best bat in your lineup, and maybe one of the not so productive bats at short and center. But if they can field their position well, then that's okay. Whatever they do at the plate is an extra bonus, whether it's good or not.
Absolutely, and that brings up Thurman for his second at-bat. Looks at a ball. Thurman led off the game with a little infield single. 1-0 here from Kuhar is hit back up the middle, and it will find center field. So Thurman 2 for 2 on the evening, as we are just at the 8 o'clock point.
Now batting for the Lightning, number 24.
And the Lightning with a runner aboard in every inning so far. Actually now have a hit in every inning and have yet to score a run. And it's good getting guys on, but the Lightning have struggled with getting guys around and getting them in. Back on Thursday, didn't get their first runner to third until the 9th inning and only had a couple of guys reach second base.
That brings up Irizarry grounded to a double play back in the first. That was hit over to second base as well. So the second baseman, Lee Anthony Santiago, has been busy today. Several balls hit towards that general region. As Irizarry is going to smack a single out into left field. So back-to-back hits for Leesburg, and they now have a runner in scoring position. But really just a good piece of hitting there by Irizarry. Wasted no time and smoked one the other way for another 2-out knock.
Cole Bolin had a really nice opposite field base hit when he was on the left side of the batter's box. He lined it down the third base line, and it's good to see the Lightning hitting it where it's pitched. Irizarry got one almost on the outside part of the play. Actually looked more middle from up here, but he was a little bit early on it and was able to find a barrel and line it opposite field. And you don't want these guys to think that they can only hit it pull side. You want them to be able to hit it to all sides of the field.
Brings up Brian Jenkins. Set a pitch downstairs. Jenkins is the man who leads this Leesburg lineup in walks. And they have a total of 182. Jenkins has 20 of them. Go along with 13 RBIs and 19 runs scored. He's been an overall productive hitter, despite hitting just a tick under 250. But 1-1 here to Jenkins. A 2-out opportunity for Leesburg to scratch across the game's first run.
And although hitting 244, Jenkins a 275 average with runners on and actually a 290 average with runners in scoring position. So he has fared better when there is runs to be brought in and there is a run standing at second base.
1-1 from Kuhar is fouled away, so it'll be a 1-2 count. Yeah, I think that one squared a car.
I think it truck.
Yeah, so it'll be okay.
Okay, I'm a little past that, so I think I should be all right. God, it makes me so nervous, though. That one sounded
Yeah, you know,
not so good.
You guys aren't coming here again, but there's like street parking back here, which is
Right.
a little more safe. Or you could try and hug that corner like I do. Is that 1-2 pitch misses away? It'll be 2-2 here to Jenkins. And twos all around here in the top of the third. 2 men on, 2-2 count with 2 outs to Ryan Jenkins, the number 3 hole hitter. See what Kuhar goes to here for the 2-2 is dribbled right to the first baseman Collado. Kuhar does a nice job covering and records out number 3. So Leesburg strands a couple of runners after a pair of 2 out hits, and that is all they will get as we head to the bottom half of the third here. We are still scoreless at Alfond.
Here in the bottom of the third, the left fielder.
Bottom of the third inning here, still scoreless between the Leesburg Lightning and the Diamond Dogs. Then it's the rubber match of this 3-game set, this 3-game weekend series. The Diamond Dogs won the first one 5-0. Leesburg responded with an 8-0 win last night. Pierce Gliding steps up for his first at-bat and looks at a strike number 1. So it looks like Henriksen is still out there, so his second inning of work.
Yeah, and there is an arm of the bullpen getting loose, or at least stretching right now. So maybe Henriksen's last inning, unless it's lightning quick, and the last one was. So we'll see. Love to see him go another inning, but remember, it's a 7-inning game, so Coach Billings might be hesitant to use a guy more than 2 innings, just so everyone can get a chance.
1-1 swung on a miss by Gladding. And, yeah, the first inning was quick after the leadoff walk to Boyesen. The catcher, Cole Bullen, made a nice back pick and was able to nab him. And through the first 2 innings, the Diamond Dogs have sent the minimum up to the plate. 1-2 is fouled off by Gladding. For Gladding, he missed a chunk of time due to being in the transfer portal, but it's good to have him back. Hitting .250, this is his 8th game. Had a double in the first game of the series. And again, this is a 7-inning game, so sort of moving into the middle part of this game. 1-2 is downstairs for ball number 2.
Yeah, and despite giving up the leadoff walk last inning, Henriksen obviously got some help from Cole Bullen, able to get Boyesen leaning a little too far towards second. They were able to get him out on the base pass, and then back-to-back ground outs.
2-2 is downstairs again, so the count will run full here to Gladding. Gladding recommitted to Georgia Southwestern. So congrats to him. He was at Valdosta State, so if you're familiar with any Georgia geography, he's just moving up a little bit, a couple hours north. Payoff to Gladding is hit hard on the ground to third, but Reed Snyder right there throws over to first for out number 1.
Reed Snyder plays a really good third base. Actually got taken out of the game yesterday just so TJ Sokros could get in at bat, but I was talking with him before the game, and he had a wardrobe malfunction, actually.
Ooh,
he had on one of the slides, he ripped his pants so good. He's got a huge hole. He said the size of, a small head.
That would cause you to come out?
I asked him, I was like, was that the reason why you came out? And he's like, no, TJ needed to get, or TJ wanted to get some at-bats, or coach wanted TJ to get some at-bats, which, I take with a little grain of salt. I'm kind of thinking, I'm sitting there, I was like, well, if you got a hole that big, can you really play the rest of the game? And, he was like, I could have, I guess. But it's always good to see, other guys like TJ Sokros get opportunities.
I bring up Joel Collado for his first at-bat. Quickly ahead in the count here. Hitter's friendly count 2-0. Collado out over at first base today. Just his second game over there. 2-0. Is in there for a strike, but Collado, one of the guys who has pretty much showed up to the park every single day. This is his 27th game played out of 30, or this is the 30th game for the Diamond Dogs. 2-1 is way low. That one skipped a couple feet before the plate, so it'll be a 3-1 count here to Collado.
Yeah, you've seen some not wild pitches, but pitches in the dirt. Cole Bullen's done a good job of blocking that up. Of course, the one in the at-bat to Ben Barrow that they were able to get Boyesen out on, but spurts of really good command from Hendrickson, and then other just dirt balls. I guess he's trying to get a swing and miss.
3-1 is going to be upstairs for ball number 4. It'll be a walk, a one-out walk for Joel Collado. And that'll bring up Lee Anthony Santiago.
Lee Anthony Santiago.
And yeah, just as we kind of get towards the end of this Florida League season and looking at the roster, they have had a lot of roster turnover, a lot of guys become inactive as we kind of wind things down this season. Again, only 5 games left on the schedule for the Diamond Dogs after today. That first pitch is in for a strike, and there was a game against Orlando that ended up getting suspended, canceled, not really sure, but I don't know if they'll end up making that one up because of all the other teams in the Florida League. We don't presume that some of them will be able to play 8 or 9 games next week.
Right. Lightning have about 3 or 4 games, I do believe, that need to be made up. But with Sunday already being a rescheduled game, tomorrow being a rescheduled game for the Lightning, really have to keep Wednesday open as a makeup day, because that's 6 straight going into Wednesday. And if they play on Wednesday, a makeup game, then it would be – 7, 8, 9, 10? That'd be 10 straight games, because we got a 3-game series with the Snappers. So
you got to give the guys a get off.
Likely the Lightning will make up that 4th of July game tomorrow, and that will be the last makeup game. They will not play the River Rats in their one game. And
1-2 is hit towards third base, but foul. And yeah, since the Diamond Dogs are kind of ahead of everyone else in terms of games played, they might likely just throw that game out the window and try and fit as many games as they can in before that. I believe it's a week from tomorrow is when the regular season will conclude. But Santiago dealing with a 1-2 count, and he fouls that one back. Santiago out of Barry has 8 hits this season, 4 RBIs, and 7 walks. With the runner on first being Collado, just worked a 1-out walk. Making Henriksen work a little bit, though, here. The 1-2 is hit in the air, kind of on the infield. Grant Jordan ranges a few steps back to make the out for out number 2.
Now batting for the Diamond Dogs.
That'll bring up the number 10 hole hitter, Alejandro Simo.
And, TJ, this really is a must-win for both teams. On one side, the Diamond Dogs, if they drop tonight's game, they're really almost mathematically out of playoff contention. But for the Lightning, with the Snappers getting rained out today, they have a chance to pick up a half game, and not just a half game, but to pick up a game in general, which would help their winning percentage, actually, because the tiebreaker at first obviously goes with record, and then if you have the same record, then it goes with winning percentage, and then after that it will go to head-to-head, and head-to-head the Lightning have not fared well against the Snappers, but if they do play one more game than the Snappers, and that is a win, then their winning percentage will be higher.
Yeah.
So they would not only pick up a half game, but they would pick up another game in general, and I believe right now it's 4 games, if I'm not mistaken, 2 with the Rats and 2 with DeLand.
1-1 is going to be hit out into left, a 2-out single for Simo. It's the first hit for the Diamond Dogs today. Good piece of hitting there by Simo, just stayed on that ball. And Simo, despite just playing 14 for this is 15th game, hitting .263, which will likely increase. And, yeah, you make a lot of good points, and especially just, looking at the standings, you can kind of already anticipate that it'll be Orlando and Leesburg kind of playing each other in the first round of the playoffs. It's just a matter of
who gets home field,
which is a big deal. So that will certainly be a good race, I should say, down the kind of the final week of the season. That'll bring up the leadoff man, Roberto Odor, grounded out to shortstop his first at bat. That was that nice play by Grant Jordan to open up the game. It's quickly down here 0-2.
That was the first Diamond Dogs hit of the night, and they've got 2 on now with 2 out. So Hendrickson really has to buckle down here to get Odor. Doesn't want to face the rest of the top of the order.
0-2 is a little bit outside. Odor out of St. Leo was named an all-star. 1-2 is looked at for strike number 3. That's how the inning will conclude. The Diamond Dogs strand a pair but do get their first hit. We're still scoreless heading into the top half of the 4th here at Alfond Stadium.
Especially with so many rain delays, winning percentage means nothing. So this should be game 31. And for us, this is game 28.
Top of the 4th inning here, 4, 5, 6 due up for the Lightning, and it's Riley Kuhar who is still out on the mound. His 4th inning of work has put up 3 zeros thus far, and same goes for the Leesburg pitchers as we're still scoreless here. First pitch is away to Charlie Keller.
Yeah, and it's kind of interesting how this game has gone so far because it seems like both teams kind of met in the middle in terms of pitching. Of course, Lightning did well in the first game. It was the defensive errors. And in the last game, the Diamond Dogs, of course, some defensive errors for themselves, but the pitching was not on point. And now it seems like both pitching staffs have done a good job at kind of syncing up in game 3.
1-1 is downstairs to Keller. Keller grounded out pretty sharply to first, his first at-bat. We have 4 hits for Leesburg to the Diamond Dogs 1, as that's inside, but called a strike to Keller, so 2-2 count. And the big thing for Kuhar as to why he's, able to go into these later innings is he's able to control, as that ball is going to be roped into right field for a leadoff single. That ball was hit well. by Keller as he's aboard to start this fourth.
Really good sign. Charlie Keller has struggled. He's gone hitless, and I believe going back to last night, he was 0 for 3 last night, 0 for 4 in the first game, and then grounded out in his first at bat. So at least hitless in his last 8 plate appearances. So good to see him hit the ball hard, and want to get him in the same shape as he has been this whole summer, getting ready for the playoffs.
Reed Snyder squares around to bunt, a back pick to first, but he'll be safe. I think a lot of back picks today, but for Snyder, he squares around. I don't know if he was actually going to bunt or it was just a deke attempt, but he does end up pulling back, and it's called for ball number 1. But maybe Lightning playing a little small ball, trying to work guys over as he squares again, and Kuhar checks over on the runner at first, and I like that move by Kuhar. Again, if the batter is squaring so early, it may either be a steal attempt or, he's going to get a little bit of an extra lead, and Kuhar is keeping him in check. Same things as Snyder squares around, and that's going to be a little low for ball number, I guess maybe the first pitch was called a strike, unclear, but it's a 1-1 count as the umpire just indicated. I thought that first pitch was a ball, and then he certainly didn't call that one a strike, but nevertheless, it's a 1-1 count, and Snyder squares around again. This time it's downstairs for ball number 2.
Yeah, I love it. Reed Snyder being selective. And, with Reed Snyder's, height and stature, you wouldn't expect him to be a guy to lay down a bunt. But Coach Billings, I was told this before, it doesn't really matter who the guy is at the plate.
As he gets this one down, and that will at least advance Keller over to second. The Diamond Dogs get Snyder at first for out number 1, but Keller advances into scoring position.
Now batting for the Lightning, number 9.
And it did his job. He got the runner over, and I'll say it again, it doesn't matter if you're 6'3", 6'4". Coach Billings is going to ask you to lay down a bunt. He expects you to be able to do that. And if you are one of the shorter guys, he expects you to lay down a bunt and maybe leg one out, too, for a base hit. So playing a little small ball here, I think Coach Billings realizes, obviously, Kuhar has done a good job, and it might be a lower scoring affair, and some miscues, by Reed Snyder, one at second base getting thrown out, and, a 4-6-3 double play, and just, things not really going the Lightning's way on the base pass. So
1-0 here to Moises as he hits that one high on the infield. The first baseman, Collado, camps under it for out number 2. So a big out there for the Diamond Dogs as they hold the runner Keller at second. So rousing applause for the dugout. I think that's because Collado, who's usually a catcher, is over there first. So, got his first pop-up attempt. But nonetheless, it's out number 2. And Kuhar will now have to deal with Bolin, Cole Bolin that is, who had a single back in his last at-bat in the second. The first pitch to Bolin is hit into center field. Keller going to round third. They're going to send him. The throw is cut off by Collado. And Keller scores the first run of the game as Leesburg scores first, and they lead 1-0. Bolin wastes no time, swings at the first pitch he sees, and is 2 for 2 today with an RBI single.
I think that was a bad cut by Collado.
Yeah, it would have been
that
close.
Was a really good throw out in center field by Luis Rivero, and maybe it bounces off the mound, loses some speed, but when Reed Snyder was taking the turnaround third, that throw was almost already out of the hand of Luis Rivero, and I think if Collado doesn't cut it off, it's going to be a bang-bang play, and it looked pretty online. So
Isn't
TJ,
there
I don't know.
supposed to be some, communication, like between the catcher, or maybe someone else on the infield, to let Collado know to let the ball go?
Well, usually if the catcher says nothing, the ball should be let go.
Okay.
The ball should not be cut. But if the catcher says cut, obviously it should.
James Strom will ground out to Kuhar, but Leesburg ends up scratching across the first run thanks to a Cole Bolin RBI single. As right into the bottom half of the fourth inning here, Leesburg leads 1-0.
No, it could go either way. You're right. It was losing speed, and if it hits the mound, it probably loses more. Actually, I don't know. If it hits the downslope on the mound, it actually might give some speed. Where are you going? Right. It's kind of like, dude, you can't. Like, you can. There's no feasible way for you to go. We can go back a little early. I'll talk about Hill.
Bottom of the 4th inning here at Alfond Stadium. Beautiful night here in Florida, Saturday evening. And there's going to be a new pitcher on the hill for Leesburg as they just scratched across the game's first run in the top half of the 4th.
Yeah, new pitcher is going to be James Hill, another new addition. Came just this past week and actually pitched his first game back on the 6th. He struggled, though, pitched just a third of an inning, didn't give up a hit, but did walk 3 batters and ended up surrendering 2 earned runs, and that was just a rocky first outing for him. So hoping for a better second outing here against the Diamond Dogs. And I will start with 2, 3, and 4. I already mentioned his last time out, struggled. So hoping for a better outing today. Both of these outings come in relief.
Yeah, absolutely. And for the Diamond Dogs, it's been 11 innings since they last scored a run. Or actually, maybe even a little more than that. I'll have to go back and check the Thursday game and go ahead and do that real quick. But they did not score in the 8 innings yesterday, and they're held scoreless through the first 3 here today. As Espiat steps up, swings at the first pitch, but fouls it back. Espiat out of Alabama State. As he ropes that one into left, and it'll get down for a leadoff single. Good to see Espiat break out of a little bit of a slump as he's aboard here to start the 4th.
Dawgs, number 13, Luis Rivero.
Would love to see James Hill here really trust his defense, try to get a ground ball and let them go to work, and maybe turn a double play here.
Yeah, so been 12 innings since Diamond Dogs last scored. See if they can break that here as Rivero steps in. Struck out looking his first at bat. So he hits that one down the left field line. It will tuck in the line. Espiat rounding second on the way to third, and they will hold him there. Luis Rivero in with a double as he continues his hot hitting, and the Diamond Dogs have runners on second and third with nobody out here. Threatening in a big way. That brings up the cleanup man, Tyler Boyson.
Great job guiding it right down the line and almost had a chance to score Espiat. I think that third base coach being a little cautious, don't want that first out to come at home and kind of kill the momentum that's already started. And, of course, 2 in scoring position, nobody out, will do just fine.
And, yeah, Reed Snyder was playing a little bit in there, so the ball wasn't hit fairly not hard by Rivero, but it just tucks in the line fair. First pitch is away to Boyson. 1-0 is swung on a healthy cut by Boyson, but swung through it. In his last at-bat, he walked, but was caught, taking too big of a lead over at first. But a big at-bat here for Boyson. 1-1 is in the dirt. A nice stop by Bolin.
And after going hitless through the first 2 2/3 of this game, the Diamond Dogs have strung together hits in 3 of the last 4 batters that have come to the plate.
The 2-1 to Boyson is swung on and missed again. High heater there. He was a little bit behind. Again, if you're the pitcher, Hill may want to go back to that well, as Boyson swung through a couple of fastballs here. The 2-2 is upstairs again, but it'll run the count full.
I like the idea by James Hill, try to overpower him with the fastball upstairs, but now really has to pitch a strike. Does have a base open and would create a force out, but a punch out would be a lot better in this situation. There is action in the bullpen for the Lightning.
Payoff pitch is crushed out to left. Irizarry sent back. He will camp under it. However, SBI will tag up, and the game is tied at 1 apiece here. Rivero stays put at second, so Leesburg trades an out for a run, but it'll be a sac fly for Boyson as he hit that one on the screws.
Number 37.
A little interested in why Luis Rivero didn't tag up and go to third. Irizarry had to drift back pretty far, and he didn't get the memo to drift back far until, a little bit later than some other guys might have, and didn't really have a chance to get behind the baseball and make a strong throw back into the infield. So I think Rivero would have been safe at third.
And Barrows swings to the first pitch he sees and lines one into left for a base hit. Rivero, again, will just advance to third as that ball was hit just over the shortstop's head, but the Diamond Dogs bats awakening a little bit here. That is 3 hits thus far in the inning. Bring up Adonis Velez.
Yeah, and James Hill, he's filling up the zone, throwing strikes, just too hittable. Just the pitch is too hittable for these Diamond Dogs, and they really can't resist, and done a great job. It's going to prompt a mound visit, but I'm wondering if Coach Billings has seen enough of James Hill. He has looked to the bullpen a couple of times and might just be buying time. I believe it's Lucas Perez, the righty, warming up for the Lightning.
We saw that a couple times in the first game. See if that's going to be the case here, which it actually does seem pretty likely. But the new pitcher will have to deal with a first and third with just one down here as the game is tied up at 1 thanks to a sac fly by Tyler Boyson. Yeah, here comes the home plate umpire to prompt the Leesburg coach to head back to the dugout, and that's likely when he'll call to the bullpen. See what happens here in just a moment. And no, it looks like they will stay with James Hill.
Yeah, it just might be his last batter. I think Coach is probably telling him, I've got a short leash on you, and you got to get this guy out and hopefully get a ground ball here with runners at the corners. But this will most likely be his last batter.
But again, in a 7-inning game, the 4th inning here plays more like the 6th or 7th. But it is also kind of the midway point through the game. See what James Hill can do here. First pitch to Velez as he squares around a bunt, but bunts it foul. Looks like the squeeze attempt was on as Rivera was trotting home. A good idea by head coach Jim Newland, but Velez just unable to get the bunt down. That kind of spoils your plans. Oh, 0-1 to Velez is swung on and missed. So Velez quickly down 0-2 here.
And if I'm James Hill, I'm going right back to that fastball. It seemed like Velez was way behind on it, especially after attempting to bunt. I'd go up in the zone here, nowhere near, but a fastball, try to get a swing and a miss.
See if he does just that. He does. It's a little upstairs.
I like the discipline from Cole Bullen. Thought about checking down to first base, realized that Ben Barrow is back in time and has that run over there at third. So any mistake and that ball goes to the outfield, the Diamond Dogs will take the lead.
The 1-2 to Velez is swung on and missed. A big strikeout for James Hill, as that's going to be out number 2 in the inning. That'll bring up Pierce Gladding with, again, the same opportunity that Velez had. Runners on first and third. This time they're 2 down in the inning. So good response there by James Hill, maybe sensing the pressure that Billings may take him out of the game. So that prompts him to get right in the zone.
Yeah, and I meant by his last batter, I meant if he couldn't get Velez out, that would probably be it for James Hill. But Coach Billings telling him, hey, you get these next 2 guys out, that's great. If you can't get Velez out, I'm gonna have to take you out. So great job staying ahead in the count and getting Velez. Looked like he took a little bit of something off of that last pitch. Seemed like a breaking ball, and Velez was caught out front.
Gladding pops one straight up. That will head back towards us. And there it is. I knew it was coming.
You could have warned me.
Yeah, I should have. But, yeah, the trajectory on that ball, I was like, well, it's definitely getting over the net, and it's probably going to smack this awning that's right above us.
A chance here for James Hill to limit the damage. Was looking pretty grim with 2 on in scoring position and nobody out.
See what he goes to here in the 1-1. It's looked like a little upstairs, and the runner Barrow will take off uncontested, like a delayed steal there. But Gladding down 1-2 in the count. That pitch looked a little high. I don't think Gladding liked that call, but now a chance for Gladding if he can get a hit to maybe score a pair. 1-2 is hit out to center, sending the center fielder Thurman back, but he will make the catch for out number 3. However, the Diamond Dogs do tie it up after a double by Rivera and then a sacrifice fly by Boyesen scores the leadoff man, Alex Espiat, as we're tied 1-1 headed into the top half of the 5th here at Alfond Stadium. Top half of the 5th inning here. We're all knotted at 1. Going to be the 9-10 one-batters for Leesburg. Again, Riley Kuhar putting together a nice outing. He's out there for his 5th inning of work. Or, excuse me, that is a new pitcher, it appears. I believe it's Justin Webster. No, it is Kuhar still. Excuse me on that. It's got a little crossed up.
A great job by the Diamond Dogs answering back. Had an opportunity to play a couple more runs, 2 on in scoring position with nobody out. It's a great job by James Hill to bear down and get 3 outs with 2 in scoring position while just giving up that sac fly. So great job from him, and missed opportunity for the Diamond Dogs, and the Lightning a chance to answer back here with time running out.
Yeah, 2-1 is fouled away by Wroblewski, who grounded out to second his first at bat. But yeah, it certainly feels like a missed opportunity for the Diamond Dogs, who had runners on second and third, to open up the inning with nobody out, and were only able to plate across just one run. See what Kuhar goes to here on the 2-2. It's going to be grounded away foul.
And probably should be getting out of here a little later than usual. Would have been a 6 o'clock start, so 3 hours and some change of a regular ball game, and we're already at 8:37. But we are in the 5th inning, so
2-2 here to Wroblewski is swung on and missed. Good pitch there by Kuhar to strike out the leadoff man. Leadoff man in the inning, Nick Wroblewski, for out number 1, and that'll bring up Grant Jordan, who also grounded out to second his first time up. Good job there by Kuhar, changing pace. That's his first strikeout of the night. Again, usually striking out around a batter per inning, but first pitch from Jordan is sent foul.
And Wroblewski has struggled a little bit with the strikeouts as of late, but still not a staggering number at 15 now. But then again, him and Trey Kraft both don't play every day, so 15 strikeouts, it is a little bit of a higher number considering guys like Charlie Keller and Ryan Jenkins who play, or Eli Thurman who play every single day. They've got 17, so that's just 2 more.
Jordan down the count 0-2, looks at a pitch away for ball number 1. But a good job there by Kuhar of getting ahead of the number 10 hole hitter, Jordan. The lineup will flip after this batter, as that's going to be looked at for strike number 3. So back-to-back punch-outs for Kuhar. He's settled in very nicely here in the top of the 5th. Again, giving the Diamond Dogs an opportunity to use limited pitchers, maybe more of their higher leverage guys. That'll bring up the leadoff man, Eli Thurman. First pitch he sees is fouled away to the right side, so another batter that Kuhar gets ahead of. Again, here in the top of the 5th, this is just a 7-inning game, so the inning's winding down just a bit here. 0-1 is in the dirt.
And Eli Thurman already a really good night, a couple base hits. Always good to see him be productive, being the leadoff batter, giving the chance for the guys behind him to knock him in.
1-1 is, that looked like a good pitch, but it bounced off the glove of Ben Barrow behind the plate, and it was called a ball. And we'd like to see where that pitch was. 2-1, though, to Thurman, and that's roped. Off of Kuhar, who recovers nicely, throws on to first, and the runner's going to be safe. Ouch, that ball ricocheted off Kuhar. Hope that one just got him in the glove, because it did knock his glove off. I mean, that ball was surely going to be sent into center field. It'll be a base hit for Thurman, who's 3 for 3 tonight with 3 singles. But unfortunate for the Diamond Dogs, as Kuhar was unable to make that play.
Yeah, hit off his foot, it looked like, and I think it just took his glove off because of how hard it was hit. And I never really like when guys slide into first, but on a turf field, I give them a little bit more of a leash on that, just because it's, not as risky in terms of injury.
Back pick again from Barrow, but not in time there. That was a ball inside to Irizarry. Irizarry does have a knock, came back in the 3rd as well.
I think that guys sliding, though, on dirt and grass is it's just never the right move, and a lot of times it slows you down. But Eli Thurman's so fast.
It's weird because, at least from us here in the booth, it's easy to say it slows them down, but the guys sometimes don't seem to think that.
You're right.
Obviously, he's sliding into first because he thinks it may give him an extra, second or two.
I was about to say, Thurman might trust himself that him sliding, he knows how to do it so well that it's actually faster. And for some guys, I'm sure it is. But we've both seen guys slide in the major leagues at first base, and it just looks like that it's slower than if they ran through the bag.
Potentially, yes. 3-0 here to Irizarry. Kuhar checks on Thurman over there at first. And yeah, no, you're exactly right. I just think from the mindset of the runner, and everyone's different. They've just you're trying to get your hand in there as quickly as possible, and maybe leaving your feet is the way to do that. The 3-0 is in for strike number 1. So still a hitter's count here to Irizarry, 3-1. And this might likely to be Kuhar's last inning. So he's working his way through 5 and is in the higher 70s. The pitch count checks over on the runner at first again. Seen that a lot out of Kuhar today.
But it hasn't really affected him in terms of how he fares with the batter at the plate. You would think that he gets a little sidetracked focusing on the runner too much, but he's come back and he's done a great job at facing the batter.
And he goes there again. Maybe I'm just not sure. I wonder if he's, thinks he might steal or just really wants to get him, but it's, just not really working at this point.
Maybe
the 3-1 pitch he thinks he's going to take off. 3-1 is hit in the air out to left. No problem for Pierce Gladding, who settles under it for out number 3. So Kuhar works another scoreless frame as we're still tied 1 apiece here headed into the bottom half of the 5th.
Number 6.
Bottom of the 5th inning here. It'll be 8, 9, 10 batters for the Diamond Dogs, but they'll be facing a new pitcher. It is Cade Madison. So the night is done for James Hill. Goes an inning, gives up 3 hits, 1 earned run. That gives way to Madison.
Yeah, Madison still an inflated ERA just because his first couple outings were really rocky. He's 9 appearances, 6 2/3 innings pitched, 6 hits given up, 11 earned runs, 14 walks. That's been the issue in 6 strikeouts. But as of the recent past, he's looked better, and I feel like with every single start, every time he goes out there, he keeps getting better and better, and that's exactly what you want to see from a guy that struggled in his first couple of outings. So go ahead and give you his totals of his last outing after this first pitch. Actually, I'll go ahead and give you it right now. July 6th, pitched just a third of an inning and gave up a hit by pitch and a walk, and that was it. Got 1 out, and that's all that was needed. Did have 2 wild pitches, so the 6th, not a big sample size against the squeeze, but did not surrender a hit or a run, and his last outing before that on July 5th was even better.
1-0 pitch to Collado is swung on a miss, and Vic again, 7-inning game here. Bottom half of the 5th inning now. You have to think that runs are going to be pretty pivotal going forward. Might be a next run wins type of game.
Who's going to get the last laugh?
1-1 to Collado is in there for strike number 2. Looked like a good off-speed pitch there. Breaking ball of sorts. Be a slider that caught the zone.
Yeah, in his last 7 outings before or after the 2 that he struggled in, hasn't given up more than 1 earned run, and he's only given up 1 earned run in 2 of those 7 outings. And his second to last one on July 5th, he pitched an inning, no hits, no runs, no walks, 2 strikeouts, and that was one of his better outings so far this season. And probably won't have the chance to go more than an inning regardless of what he does, just because Coach Billings is still trying to get as many guys out as he can.
1-2 is a little bit outside to run the count even at 2. A piece here to Collado. Collado worked a walk back in the 3rd inning. And how we got here, Leesburg scored first in the top of the 4th, but the Winter Park responded with a run of their own in the bottom of the 4th. 2-2 is outside, so the count runs full here to the leadoff man in this inning, Joel Collado. Collado out of Rhode Island. Has some power in that bat. Leads this Diamond Dogs team in extra base hits with 6. 3-2 is hit high out to center. Thurman ranging back, camps under it, just on the verge of the warning track. Collado sent that one for a ride, but it's a long out number 1. And that brings up Lee Anthony Santiago.
Really hard hit ball from Joel Collado, and you like Cade Madison pitching to contact, but maybe not that hard hit of contact, but an out is an out nonetheless, and thankfully Rollins pretty far out to center field. Do you know the exact dimensions? I know they don't say it out there.
I should know that, actually. I should ask, because it's a really deep center. Feels like it's got to be close to 400 feet.
Right, definitely over 380, 385 for sure. I would bet about 385 probably.
Yeah, and right field seems to be a little shorter than left field.
I can see that too.
So 1-0 here to Leanthony Santiago, flied out on the infield his first time up as Madison delivers a strike. 1-1 count here with 1 down in the inning, bottom half of the 5th here. Again, the Diamond Dogs desperately needing a win. Dropping to 6-24 would likely see themselves almost mathematically eliminated. Santiago hits a high fly ball. The center fielder, Thurman, will call it off, and that's back-to-back outs recorded for Thurman.
Now batting for the Diamond
It's almost as if Cade Madison could hear me from up here. Got a little bit of weaker contact. That ball hit way shallower into center field. No problem for Eli Thurman.
And that brings up Simo, who has one of the Diamond Dogs' 4 hits. The base 2-out knock back in the 3rd. See what he can do here against the new pitcher, Cade Madison. Delivers a ball upstairs.
Some more action in the Lightning bullpen, but can't really tell exactly who it is.
That's in for a strike. 1-1 here to Simo, the number 10 hole hitter. Simo, like Lee Anthony Santiago, out of Barry University. Kind of down there near Miami. 1-1 is swung on a miss there. Another good off-speed pitch by Madison. Madison delivers a 1-2, and that's going to be in there for strike number 3. So 1-2-3 inning for Madison, and the Diamond Dogs are set down in order as we head to the top half of the 6th inning here. Again, 7-inning game. Getting into the later frames of this one. Don't go anywhere. It's still tied at 1 apiece.
Yo, that's great, bro. I appreciate it.
Top of the 6th inning here at Alfond Stadium, all tied at 1 apiece. Again, in a 7-inning affair. The rubber match between the Leesburg Lightning and Winter Park Diamond Dogs. It's going to be a new pitcher. New pitcher is Joe Bellflower, but that means that Kuhar's day is done. It's another good one for him. 5 innings pitched, gave up just 1 earned run, struck out a couple. But yeah, he gives way to Joe Bellflower, who is out of Illinois Tech, incoming senior. This is his 3rd season with the Diamond Dogs, so has become pretty familiar with the stadium. Has the lowest team ERA at just 1.12, but it's been in limited innings. He's making just his 7th appearance, all out of the bullpen. 8 innings pitched, 3 strikeouts, handful of walks. But his last outing came June 28th, so that's a couple of weeks ago. It was against DeLand. Did pitch in a 9-1 loss against Leesburg on June 6th. Pitched 2/3 of an inning, did not give up any runs. Diamond Dogs certainly looking for that again here, as the leadoff man for Leesburg is going to be Ryan Jenkins. First pitch he sees is inside for a ball. Yeah, so Bellflower, a guy, doesn't come to the park every day, but usually does whenever he is on the mound. So I saw him earlier. The 1-0 is in there for a strike. I think this feels like a game, obviously we probably could have anticipated the lower scoring affair, but it's because of the delay and, earlier or shorter game. But it seems like guys aren't really, or are swinging, pretty steadily, but just kind of bouncing out or weak fly balls.
Right, I mean, the
here to Jenkins.
The Lightning have only struck out just twice, and they're already a team that doesn't strike out a lot as well. Diamond Dogs have definitely more strikeouts here, but the hitters definitely want to hit and not going down quietly. We've seen some good at-bats too, but we've also seen some really good pitching as well. And, yeah, lower scoring game, and we'll see how the rest of it goes. But, yeah, both teams running out of outs, just 6 outs left for both squads.
So 2-1 is inside. So 2-2 count here to Jenkins, and that's going to be hit on the ground shortly. Velez, and he's going to be safe at first to take another head first slide into first, although that time I don't think Jenkins needed to. It looked like he broke his bat on that one, or at least it sounded funky.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, it'll be a leadoff base runner for Leesburg after Riley Kuhar departs the game.
Yeah, Reed Snyder, Blake Titmore inspecting that bat, and I think they've come to the conclusion that it's at least cracked a little bit. And I think that's the worst part about breaking a bat is when you don't fully break it, and when you break it just a little bit, you hear that crack, and you're like, well, why can't I hit again? But the next time you put a barrel on it, it's going to be broken in half.
First pitch swinging for Keller, high out to left, and it's going to drop. There was some confusion on who might have come down with that. Velez ranged over, but that really should be the left fielder's ball. It'll be a base hit for Keller, but there will be runners on first and second here to start this inning, and 2 balls that were not hit particularly very hard and could have both been outs. End up being no outs for the Diamond Dogs.
Yeah, I think the first one probably is not going to be an out just because of Jenkins' speed, but that one definitely. And it's actually a really tough play. Pierce Gladding had to cover a lot of ground. That ball seemed like it was coming in, too.
As Snyder squaring around a bunt.
And, of course, Velez, that's such a tough play for him to make as well, and it seemed like he just overran it, and the ball wasn't just not carrying out. It was actually kind of drifting back towards, I would say, center field and the infield. Just a super tough play for Velez to make, and just one of those balls that was hit into no man's land, and it's tough with the lights, a little bit of a breeze out here. So
yeah, head coach Tim Newland comes out to the mound, but correct me if I'm wrong, but Snyder was squaring around to bunt in his last at-bat as well.
Right, he was, yep.
So he squared around
laid one down
on that first pitch. Yeah, he did. So, again, Leesburg trying to play a little bit of small ball, work guys into scoring position here in the top half of the 6th. Again, mentioned it last inning, but runs kind of at a premium. The next run is really so important. Yeah, or at least it feels like it.
It's super unfortunate for Bellflower. When you go out there, obviously your main job as a pitcher is to induce weak contact and fill up the zone. have good command, throw strikes, and that's exactly what Bellflower has done. And unlucky with Ryan Jenkins. Not only was it softly hit, but Velas was playing deep into the hole, which is not his fault at all. I'm sure that he was positioned there for a reason. And then same thing with Velas again. It's a tough catch to make. Pierce Gladding had no chance. He was pretty deep in the left field with it being a big field, and we got confirmation that Alfond Stadium, where we're at right now, and Melching Field, where the Suns play, the two biggest stadiums. So Pierce Gladding pretty far back there and still far back there right now, and there's just no chance for him and Velas.
The 1-0, Snyder squares around, but that'll be in there for a strike. Again, that looked like a good pitch to bunt.
Yeah, for Reed Snyder, guided it down the first base line in his first bunt attempt back in the 4th inning. I'd like to see him go down the third base line and make a tough decision for Espiat with Ryan Jenkins trying to get to third.
1-1, and that's going to be downstairs, so it'll be on ball number 2. But again, same scenario for Snyder. And yeah, the first baseman Collado is having to work almost, trying to field that bunt as it comes off the bat, because the third baseman Espiat does have to cover the bag.
Especially with Velas holding Ryan Jenkins on. There's really no one at third besides Espiat.
As that's going to be downstairs. So 3-1 here. But yeah, also the pitcher Bellflower has to be on alert for that bunt as well. As if it heads towards the third base region, he will have to field it.
A perfect bunt would be hugging that third base line. Makes it tough for Bellflower and Espiat to get there.
3-1. Snyder squares around again, but he fouls that one away. So a break of sorts for Winter Park, as that was another good pitch that could have been bunted fair, but that runs the count full, and likely Snyder not to be bunting in this situation. Certainly don't want to make the first out of the inning via a strikeout via the bunt. Payoff pitch from Bellflower is fouled back again. So a good fight there by Snyder.
And that's exactly what he needs to do. He's in a 3-2 count. He's had a very disciplined eye at the plate. In his last sack bunt attempt where he got it down, he saw some really close pitches that he was able to take and then get one down. Now not a chance to get a sack down, but still a chance to get a base hit or put himself on a base pass with a free pass.
Another payoff pitch from Bellflower, and that's going to be hit high in the air out towards right. Boyesen coming, but it will be fouled away. So Snyder staying alive here. Will be pitch number 8 in the at-bat. And again, a big at-bat at that. Diamond Dogs looking for a big first out, especially with Moises on deck. And Moises hitless today. Leads this Leesburg team in average. See what Bellflower goes to on this full count pitch.
A lot of room on the right side.
Absolutely. 3-2 is hit out into right field. It will drop as Rivero unable to corral that one, and it'll be bases loaded with nobody out as 3 unconventional singles for Leesburg here in this inning. As the Diamond Dogs looking to get things under control.
And a great attempt by Rivera. I really thought he had it. At first I thought that ball was going to get down just because it had some top spin, and I thought that Rivera wouldn't get there in time. But then as he started to drift towards the ball, I thought that he almost had it, and I think he did, and it just popped out when his glove hit the grass. And unfortunate for the Diamond Dogs, but the Lightning will take it.
Yeah, that brings up Moises. Good opportunity, bases loaded, nobody out here to potentially drive in the leading run.
I'm just surprised the middle infield is playing in double play depth. A double play gets you 2 outs, yes, but a run does come around to score.
And even the corner infielders are playing a little bit back.
Yeah, soft ground ball, Ryan Jenkins is going to go immediately.
1-0 pitch from Bellflower is a called strike. I have to think Moises will be wanting to swing away here. And obviously nowhere to put Moises. 1-1 is in there for strike number 2, so that was a good pitch by Bellflower. Caught the outside part of the plate, and it's a 1-2 count on Bellflower.
And you want to see Moises be aggressive and try to put the ball in play, but you really don't want him to roll over on one and give the Diamond Dogs a chance to turn 2.
The 1-2 is in the dirt. It skips away from Barrow, but not far enough for Jenkins to trot home. But 2-2 count here to Moises. Bases are full of lightning, and a big at-bat here in the top of the 6th.
And an excellent job the last play by Ryan Jenkins to hold up at second base. Obviously had to wait to see if that ball would be caught or not, and doing a good job not expecting it to fall and then being too far towards third base.
2-2 is away again, so a full count here. Back-to-back full counts for Bellflower. We're having to work pretty hard here in this one, but nowhere to put Moises. 3-2 in a tie ball game at 1 apiece here at Alfond. The payoff pitch is inside. Ball number 4 will be an RBI for Moises as Leesburg keeps the line moving, and that will score Jenkins. So they take a 2-1 lead here in the top of the 6th.
Now batting for the Lightning.
Just a good job. Good at bat by Moises. A good eye there.
And that's why Moises is so dangerous. It's not because he has gap-to-gap power and because he's got some of the tied for the most hits on the team, but because he draws so many free passes. That's his 19th walk. His on-base percentage is .457. It's just a ridiculous number.
That brings up Cole Bolin, who's already 2 for 2 today. Chance to drive in more. First pitch from is hit hard on the ground to Collado. He will have to make the only out at first base. It will allow for another run to score. That's Charlie Keller. So the Lightning have taken a 3-1 lead here in the top of the 6th. And runners advance to second and third. As Collado really made the only play he could, which was to step on the bag at first for out number 1. That'll bring up the lefty Strom. So does not get any easier for Bellflower trying to get out of this. And now the Diamond Dog infield draws in.
I just think it's a little bit too late,
Yeah.
TJ. That ground ball
For
towards
sure.
first base, Collado was almost chopped out to him.
But
I think
if he was playing in, yeah, you're exactly
he could
right.
field it, throw it home, get Charlie Keller, who doesn't have the best speed.
So first pitch here to Strom is inside. Barrow back picks, and he's safe.
Whew.
Close play there, but his right hand may have snuck in there.
Yeah, I would agree. I think Snyder's hand probably snuck in. It's so tough when you're applying the tag to their back and their backside in general. It's always as if the umpire is going to think that their hand got in there first. That's what I think that their mind goes to, is that did that hand get in there or did that tag get there first?
1-0 is downstairs. So now there is the first base is open. But again, you want to get outs here as opposed to keeping the line moving for Leesburg. If you're Bellflower, they're getting a couple unconventional hits. Led to the bases being loaded. 2-0 is swung on and missed by Strom. Looked like a changeup there. Good pitch at that. But yeah, Lightning up to 10 hits now.
Great opportunity for James Strom, hitting .222 with runners in scoring position. Really just needs to hit it hard, and he knows how to do that.
He squares around a bunt, but it's a ball outside. And Rich Billings employing a lot of bunt signals, or I don't know if he's employing the signs because it's assistant Tanner Clark over there, but someone's relaying that.
I'm sure Coach Billings is main facilitator behind it, but hey, it doesn't matter if it's Reed Snyder or James Strom, some of the 2 tallest guys in the lineup.
3-1 is like a hit off Strom, so nonetheless he'll reach base. But the bases are loaded once again now, this time for Nick Wroblewski.
For the Lightning, number 25, Nicholas
Things
Wroblewski.
gotten a little bit out of control here for the Diamond Dogs again. Riley Kuhar put together a really nice start. 5 innings, 5 strong innings, and then he gave way to Joe Bellflower, who has given up 2 here in the top of the 6th. So if you're the Diamond Dogs, you need to limit the damage
Wroblewski hitting 214 with runners in scoring position, 222 like Strom was with runners on in general. So a chance for him to pad his stats. Wroblewski does, he just has the 2 RBIs. One of them was the walk-off win against the DeLand Suns, so at least makes them count, but would love to get a base hit here, and I know he would appreciate a couple RBIs added to his tally on the season.
Bellflower delivers the first pitch, and that's fouled off the catcher's glove for strike number 1. Again, I mentioned the numbers for Bellflower. He has not given up more than 1 earned run in an appearance this season. Or, no, excuse me, he did back on June 2nd, his first appearance this summer. Gave up 4 earned runs, but since then was really good, and that's swung on and missed by Wroblewski. Had put together a full 5 scoreless outings, all ranging from 2/3 of an inning to 2 1/3, but has given up 2 here today. The 0-2 to Wroblewski is away. And the catcher, Ben Barrow, he's always looking to backpick somebody, it feels like.
Right, and I
think you had mentioned it too. You know, sometimes those plays are more risk than reward.
Oh, that's, you took the words right out of my mouth, and I've definitely said that before, and it is right. You know, not Cole Bullen had a great play down there and was able to get the out, but 9 times out of 10, you're usually not going to get the out, and a lot of times you'll make an error.
1-2 is swung on and missed, so Wroblewski goes down with the bases loaded. A big out, number 2 for Bellflower. Now he'll deal with the number 10 man, number 10 hole, Grant Jordan, who has a strikeout in his last at-bat. But limiting the damage here to just 2 runs would be sort of a welcome sign for Winter Park, bearing if they can score any runs in their final 2 at-bats. First pitch is in there for a strike to Jordan.
Here's another guy that would definitely like to add a couple more RBIs. Does have 4 with just his 4 base hits, and has made those hits count, but a good bit of his RBIs have come from a ground out or a sac fly, but any way you can get it done, he'll do it.
0-1 is slap foul, so Jordan will quickly be behind in the count here, 0-2, and Bellflower just a pitch away from getting out of this top of the 6th inning, which looked like for a second it could turn disastrous, and it certainly can still, but the first 2 batters of the inning, Jenkins and Keller, came around to score. And a couple of unconventional hits, an RBI walk, and then a grounder to first scored the 2nd run. 0-2 is in the dirt for ball number 1.
Lightning scoring 2 runs so far in this inning. It's a great job, but remember he had bases loaded with just 1 out a second ago. And you had 2 on with nobody out when James Strom was at the dish. When Cole Bullen was at the dish. So we'd like to get a couple more here.
The 1-2 is flared out into right, and it will drop. 2 runners will come around to score. That is Reed Snyder and Moises. And the Leesburg Lightning have opened things up here in the 6th. That's a 4-run inning, and they now lead 5-1.
That's great. That's exactly what the Lightning needed. You know, the 3-1 lead going into the last 2 frames is good, and it definitely could have maybe gotten the job done. But now up 5-1, Grant Jordan providing that 2-run single. He's now up to 6 RBIs on the year with 5 base hits. So he's really making his hits count. And for a guy that is still struggling, hitting under 200, if you've got more RBIs than you do hits, at least you're making those hits count, and he does it right here.
First pitch is going to bounce off Barrow. That's going to allow for another runner to come across. It is James Strom, I believe. And, yeah, things have certainly opened up here in the top of the 6th. It's a 5-run inning for Leesburg, as another runner comes across. And again, Diamond Dogs still not out of the inning just yet. It's still have to deal with the leadoff man, Thurman, with the runner Jordan at 2nd. So A good piece of hitting by Jordan, then the ball skips away from Barrow. Allows for 3 runs to plate here in just the last few moments. Bellflower delivers a strike to even up the count at 1-1.
This game's really slowed down here in this inning.
Certainly, it's been a long inning. Just to check around the league, the Land Suns are up on the Winter Garden Squeeze 2-0. Orlando and Sanford have been suspended or canceled. We're not totally sure yet. It says canceled for now. But for the Diamond Dogs' sake, seeing the Land up again, they were leading big in last night's game before it eventually got suspended, but seeing them lead is not a good thing. But certainly you have to deal with the task at hand, or deal with your own, control what you can control, as they say. That's going to be a ball in the dirt, so 3-1 count here.
There is action in the Diamond Dogs bullpen. Looks like it's a lefty warming up.
So Bellflower goes to on the 3-1. It's going to be a little inside for a walk, and it's like the Lightning are on the verge of batting around.
Right, 10th batter to the plate in Irizarry. Ryan Jenkins led it off with a single.
As here comes head coach Tim Newland.
It's actually 3 straight singles before Moises walked in a run, and then Cole Bolin, an RBI ground out.
So that'll be it for Joe Bellflower. It looks like the new pitcher will be Nick Sikowski. We'll confirm that once we return in just a moment. Going to be a pitch hitter for Leesburg in place of Irizarry. It's going to be Ledger Pleasant. And the new pitcher for the Diamond Dogs is Nick Sikowski, looking to keep things under control here. He has Sikowski, that is, this is his 13th appearance, has a little north of a 5 ERA, but a boatload of innings, 26, that is. He'll face Pleasant, who will step in for his first at-bat. Delivers a ball.
Pleasant pretty much an everyday middle infielder for the Lightning, whether he plays short or second base. Originally got the start off, hitting .264, was an all-star, 14 hits and 53 at-bats, scored 8 runs.
The 1-0 is downstairs. So for the Diamond Dogs, certainly going to have to get out of this inning somehow, as the Lightning are kind of on a little bit of a 2-out rally here. The 2-0 is in there for a strike.
Pleasant's been really good with 2 outs. He's 5 for 15, hitting .333. And this is his first pinch hit opportunity of the season.
Two-one from Sikowski is hit hard into left field. Tanner Clark will send the runner, Jordan. He will score. It's the 6th run of the inning for Leesburg, and they've completely opened things up here in the 6th after what was a low-scoring game. And I said that the next run of the game, or next runs of the game, would be pretty pivotal, and the Lightning took that pretty literally and scored the next 6 here in the 6th.
Right, and I love that send by Coach Clark. He waits the perfect amount of time to really evaluate how fast that ball is getting out to the outfielder, and he bases the decision off of that, and he knows the speed of Grant Jordan, and just making all the right calls this season. Really have only had a couple miscues from Coach Clark at third base where guys have gotten thrown out, but for the most part, he's aggressive, but I think that, I've heard this from so many different guys, and I think when I was talking with Coach Clark, he said it, but if you're not getting guys out at home, you're not doing your job. I think that a lot of smart people have told me that, and it holds true.
So the Lightning have officially batted around as Ryan Jenkins is now up. He led off this inning.
And just a great job by Pleasant, coming off of the bench and a pinch hit opportunity and getting the job done, driving in a run. And that now makes it 12 RBIs for Pleasant.
1-0 is upstairs.
And guys might not like to, or not love to bat in the bottom of the order. Pleasant usually batting in the 10 hole, but with 12 RBIs, he's right up there with the heavy hitters for the Lightning. I mean, the most amount of RBIs is Charlie Keller with 15 right now. So he's right up there with the bigger hitters, and that's because guys in front of him do a great job of getting themselves on, and he can do a good job of getting them in.
So 2-1 here to Jenkins, who started this inning with what was an infield single off Bellflower, who has now given way to Sikowski looking to get out of this inning. It'll be a 2-1 count. Runners on first and second. Those runners are Thurman and Pleasant. He swings through that one, so it'll even up the count at 2-2. Sikowski steps off the mound and should deal with the hitter at hand, Ryan Jenkins. There's a 2-2, and that's in the turf to even up the count, or to run the count full, I should say. And Jenkins, if he were to reach, will be the second time he's reached base this inning. Lightning have batted around. Jenkins, Keller, Snyder, Moises have scored. Strom and Jordan were also crossed home plate. The payoff pitch, runners on the move, and that's fouled back, or fouled to the left side, I should say.
And this has got to be more than a 30-minute top of the 6th inning right now.
Certainly, and we were talking about the sprinklers in the break. Well, they come on. I'm not sure if it's 9:30 or 10.
I would hope 10. I would think it'd have to be 10. I mean, if most games start at
for sure
at 6 o'clock.
It might even be 11. So
right, yeah, they maybe moved it back a little bit, but yeah, most games start at 6. Most games over around 9:30. So, yeah, I would say 10.
Payoff pitch to Jenkins is hit hard on the ground to third. Espiat there fires across the infield, and the inning is over. But Leesburg takes a 7-1 lead after a 6-run sixth inning, and we head to the bottom half of the sixth.
Really?
Bottom of the sixth inning here. Roberto Odor to lead things off the new pitcher. Here to tell you all about it is Lucas Perez.
A 5.65 ERA. He's 0-2 in 7 appearances. Made 3 starts, 14 and a third innings pitched. Given up just 7 hits, 9 earned runs though, 13 walks, 19 strikeouts. So pretty big strikeout pitcher. Has struggled with his command in terms of giving up free passes, and he's just run into some tough luck in some of his outings.
Odor swings through that one. So do you have the home run derby is coming up? Do you have like a pick, favorite? I know maybe Olson you might be leaning towards, but
I mean, his familiar.
There's a lot of sluggers in that. And, you know, sorry to kind of cut you
No,
off
you're
as I
good.
ask you the question, but, you know, the All-Star break is, you know, usually a pretty exciting event for Major League Baseball, but I feel like the All-Star game itself has not really been that exciting in the last few years, so people may gravitate more now towards the Home Run Derby as being like the premier event of the week.
Right, and I think it's a really good lineup of guys, and I think that as
Odor swings through that one for out number 1.
Right, but I mean, I like the Olson's familiarity with the chop house, and I think that he'll obviously see the ball well there, so I think that he should go far. I mean, Cal Raleigh has been absolutely amazing, but it's different. I mean, it's BP. It's not like Cal Raleigh is facing guys throwing 80, 90 miles per hour, which you might say at home, well, wouldn't it be easier, you know, BP? Well, for a lot of guys, it's actually tougher just to, you know, you have to hit it a little bit harder because the velocity coming in is not the same, you know, not to give you a big physics lesson, I'm sure you know this, but more for the viewers, but the faster it comes in, the faster it goes out. So you could, you know, poke a home run, especially at Fenway Park, guys, opposite field home run off the end of the bat for righty batters. They can get it right around the pesky pole, but you know, when it comes to BP, you really got to put a lot of charge into that one. So I think guys like O'Neal Cruz, I think might struggle a little bit. Same with Jazz Chisholm. I think he's going to struggle too in terms of BP, Caminero.
Like lifting the ball in the air.
Right, exactly. But guys, you know, like Olson and Cal Raleigh, I think will fare a little bit better.
Well, what makes it so hard to decipher is was a wicked pitch by Perez. Is it's hard to decide what makes this event so hard to pick as well. You know, on paper, you would certainly say, oh, yeah, I mean, Kyle Raleigh has the most home runs by a wide margin. Of course he's going to win because, you know, he has the most home runs. But it's hard to decipher who is good hitting against that BP, you know. And even it could be Cruz who, you know, loves BP, or the pitcher is their BP pitcher also plays a factor. I know when Alonso won it a couple of times, he, as I believe Rivera was hit by the pitch, but Alonso, it felt like he had such good BP. I mean, his BP pitcher would just lay it right in there for him. It was high and tight a little bit, and it just makes it so easy for him to elevate the ball. But, yeah, again, it's just such a hard event to pick, but I'm certainly looking forward to it.
And I think besides, Jazz Chisholm, I think that it's really a good lineup. I mean, every guy really deserves to be in there.
Buxton, the hometown guy,
exactly.
he has a lot of bat speed. I think bat speed plays more of a factor than people think. And
James Wood, too.
For guys like Olsen or Raleigh, their bat speed might not be as quick as like James Wood or O'Neal Cruz or Buxton, and maybe those guys fare a little better. But, again, it's no one's guess as that ball is – oh, what a play, but it's dropped. Oh, my gosh. The third baseman, Reed Snyder, laid fully out.
Excuse me. I think
to his back. Is it a new third
Ryan
baseman?
Jenkins actually moved to third
so
base.
Jenkins, that ball looked like the bat was cracked. Or at least it sounded like that. I think Boyson just grabbed a new bat, but
an amazing
play.
In left field is Marco Mueces taking over for Irizarry as he was pinch hit for. So we assume Ledger Pleasant assumes Mueces' extra hitter role, and at second base in for Jenkins is TJ Socaros.
Okay, 1-2 is swung on a miss, and Perez strikes out the side. A good job by him as we head to the top half of the seventh here. The Lightning still lead 7-1. Top of the seventh inning here, Charlie Keller to lead things off, or Charles Keller, excuse me.
It is Charlie Keller.
Sikowski's still on the mound, I believe.
Excuse me, really dominant inning from Lucas Perez, and has struggled a bit this summer. His second to last outing where he started a game, gave up 3 runs in 3 innings, but struck out the side with a hit by pitch in between and got all swinging strikeouts. Was just overpowering the Diamond Dogs' top of the order, and once again, a really good showing from him. I'm sure he feels a lot better going into the back half or the last couple games of the season, really.
One from Sikowski is fouled back. So just to recap how we got here a little bit, Lightning found the scoreboard first Thanks to an RBI single by Cole Bullen back in the 4th, which scored Keller, who scored twice today. And a big 6-run inning in the 6th. Again, only a 7-run game today, or 7-inning game today. 1-2 is a little outside. And a 6-run inning in which Jenkins, Keller, Snyder, and Moises, followed by Strom and Jordan, came around to score. Jordan delivered a 2 RBI single, and then Bullen had an RBI ground out to third. So that's going to be in there for strike number 3, out number 1 of the inning. As Keller's down looking, but he's had a nice night, 2 for 4. As head coach Tim Newland trots out to the mound, it's going to be a pitching change. So we'll step aside for just a second. We'll be back in a moment to, or is it? I believe he, yeah, it looks like a new pitcher will come in.
Oh.
And we'll step aside for a second and have the information on that in just a second.
Sorry, I didn't see anyone warming up, and I thought you were like preemptively being like, yeah. Oh, you saw him.
Top of the 7th inning here, 1 down in the inning after the strikeout to Keller. New pitcher for the Diamond Dogs, it'll be Matt Dimitri.
And it's pinch hitter, excuse me. So, TJ Sokros will bat.
Okay, so Sokros will bat for Snyder. A little bit about Dimitri. This is his 13th appearance. 18 2/3 innings to go along with 18 strikeouts. Flips a breaking ball in there for strike number 1 to Sokros. Matthew Dimitri last pitched in the 5-0 victory in the first game. Pitched an inning there in the 9th to kind of close things out. 0-1 is in there for strike number 2. So for the Lightning, kind of going forward, assumingly if they picked up this win, like you said, they'll pick up half a game, and we're headed kind of into the final stretch of the season. You know, they have the game tomorrow, but then they have games on Monday and Tuesday. They will see these Diamond Dogs once again on Tuesday, and I think they are on the verge of going 5-1 or 6-1 against them so far this season, as Sokros swings through that one. A throw from Barrow in time, route number 2. But yeah, just, you know, obviously it's kind of I wouldn't want to say statement win, but after being shut out in the first game, Lightning have certainly, you know, gotten things together on offense at least.
Yeah, I think that
And
definitely,
especially on pitching too.
it definitely lit a fire underneath them a little bit after that game being shut out. It's a big wake-up call, and obviously put together back-to-back really good games, and hopefully can close out tonight. But after tonight, got a tough matchup tomorrow on what should be an off day and a makeup game for 4th of July, and then you face the River Rats, the hottest team in the league. So
Who do they play tomorrow?
DeLand.
Okay, so yeah, DeLand seems to be putting things together a little bit. They're up 5-1 against Winter Garden.
They always keep it close against the Lightning. The Lightning are 4-1 against the Suns, or 5-1 against the Suns, but it all have been really close games. Most of them have been one-run games, excuse me.
So yeah, Lightning almost clinching their through or at least avoiding the wild card. Yeah, avoiding the wild card. Did I say that correctly?
Yeah, no. I just didn't want you to jinx anything, you know?
Oh, yeah, of course. Moises pokes one out to left, and it'll drop in for a base hit. Yeah, of course. Wouldn't want to jinx anything for the Lightning. But no, just back to what I was saying. You know, they kind of do understand that they'll be playing the snappers, it at least appears. So it's just really a matter of, you know, getting healthy or staying healthy through the last week of the season, understanding what you have on really both the pitching and the offensive side for Rich Billings and that coaching staff, you know, piecing things together, finding what the right lineup is. You know, at least throughout this series we've seen some shape shifting around for the lineup's sake, and especially the defensive alignment in the infield. And then for the pitching side, they've thrown a number of arms, so.
And they are 4-1 against the Suns. Still actually have 2 games to be made up with DeLand. One will be made up tomorrow, but I don't foresee the other one being made up. So 2 against DeLand to be made up. Obviously, tomorrow is one of those 2, and then 2 games against the Sanford River Rats. No, excuse me, 1 game against the Rats. That's still so the Lightning down 3 games. This is game 27 for the team. Should be at game 31, but that would mean 4 games. I got to rethink things for a second.
1-1 is flied. Looks like it's going to be in fair territory. Left will glide over there. He will for out number 3. So Matt Dimitri comes in and gets the final 2 outs of the inning. And last chance for the Diamond Dogs in the bottom of the 7th.
Because it is the 7th.
Bottom of the 7th inning here. Last chance for the Diamond Dogs. It'll be a pitch hitter for Ben Barrow. His night is done. It'll be Michael Santiago getting an at-bat here in the later frames.
Yep, the new pitcher, Jose Paniagua, the flame-throwing righty for Leesburg, and he has been phenomenal all season long. A .79 ERA. He's 1-0, 10 appearances, 2 saves, 11 1/3 innings pitched, 3 hits given up, 1 earned run. Does struggle with the free passes, has given up 10 in 11 1/3 innings, but 23 strikeouts. That's a strikeout through 9 rate of 18.6.
Ball's hit high on the infield. The catcher ranging all the way over there. Will he make the grab? Oh, very close. So the catcher, Cole Bolin, ranged way over there. The third baseman, Ryan Jenkins, might have had a better chance.
And the dugout's letting him hear it. Not much constructive criticism over there.
I mean, he's ran 30 yards to try and nab that one down.
Yeah, no dice, unfortunately. But I guess maybe it fuels him with the dugout kind of giving him a little bit of you know what. But, yeah, I mean, Paniagua, for those of you who don't know, strikeout per 9, basically 18.6 means he strikes out a little over 2 per inning.
1-2, and Santiago rips one in the left, so be a leadoff single for Santiago. And, yeah, for those that know that stat, 18 is good.
Yeah, very good. Yeah,
for sure.
And his past couple of outings, I mean, he hasn't given up a run, but he has struggled with the free passes. Last time out, July 5th, pitched an inning, gave up 3 walks, had just 1 strikeout. But as I said, no hits, no runs. But definitely has struggled with the walks. And
it'll be another pitch hitter. It's Canyon Marcewicz now getting an opportunity against Paniagua. So it certainly is. Canyon hits one foul. It certainly makes sense to bring in, a kind of a shutdown guy, but in a 6-run game here, maybe want to save him for a higher leverage moment, or I guess Rich Billings just wants to see him get some work.
I guess, and he usually just pitches the 1 inning, so if he does fine here tonight, then he could pitch tomorrow if it's a close game. And I mentioned this before, but 4 out of the 5 games, I would say, against the Suns have been close 1-run games. Actually, I believe all 5 of them have been 3 runs or less.
1-2 is fouled away, yeah, but he throws really hard. Oh, no.
All right.
No word on what that ball hit, but
no sound is usually, hopefully, good news.
Still a 1-2 count here to Marcewicz. The 1-2 is upstairs for ball number 2. Again, would just like to see him, kind of fill up the zone here. Certainly don't want to start allowing batters to reach unnecessarily. 2-2 is flipped a curveball there, but it is going to run the count full to Marcewicz.
That breaking ball is so devastating. It's got a lot of vertical break to it and some horizontal too.
3-2 is fouled away again. Oh no.
There you go.
I think that one had a lower angle, so it would have cleared my car, but still always scary when it goes
right,
up there.
Yeah.
But another payoff pitch here to Marcewicz is going to be hit up the middle, so it'll be back-to-back base hits for the Diamond Dogs here in the bottom of the 7th. Maybe trying to spark a little bit of a rally. They're down 6 runs, so a long way to go.
And despite his issues with the free passes, the last hit he gave up was back on June 20th, and he gave up 2 hits. That was the only outing where he gave up 2 hits besides this one right now, as we see back-to-back singles both from pinch hitters. And it's hard to come into the game and have a base hit, but especially hard to do it off of a flamethrower at Jose Paniagua, who has about a 20-mile-per-hour difference between that curveball and the fastball. Fastball sits around 90, 91, and that breaking ball around the low 70s.
So Gladding will stay in there.
Actually, no, I take that back. I think his breaking ball is still really fast. I think his breaking ball is closer to 80 miles per hour. So still a 10-mile-per-hour
Yeah,
difference.
probably 10 to 15 mile per hour difference. 0-1 here, though, to the left fielder Gladding. 0 for 2 today.
And we know Paniagua is such a big strikeout pitcher, but here we want to see him get the ball on the ground a little more. We've seen some sharp line drives from the Diamond Dogs, but if he gets a ground ball here, it can let the defense go to work, maybe turn 2, or at least get the 1 out. But don't want to feel like he has to rely on the strikeout. But, of course, up 0-2 in the count right here.
Oh, 2 here to Gladding and in the turf for ball number 1. Yeah, certainly has a big cushion to work with, 6-run cushion. So, yeah, I would just like him to fill up the zone. The 1-2 is hit on the ground, just as you said. Shortstop charges, throws on to first, and gets the out number 1. So good play there by the shortstop, Jordan, who's made a couple of nice plays.
Now batting for the Diamond Dogs.
That brings up Joel Collado.
Not exactly the type of ground ball I was hoping for off of Paniagua, but still a ground ball nonetheless. Gets an out. Definitely want to see him figure out a way to keep these runners at second and third. Not because the Lightning don't have a big lead, just for Paniagua's sake in general.
First pitch to Collado is outside. High and tight for ball number 2.
Would really want to see the fastball velo from Paniagua tonight, especially after those 2 base hits. Maybe he has a little bit more fire in him and maybe revving back a little bit more and emptying out the tank.
2-0 is swung on and missed by Collado.
I just have a tough time believing that those last couple pitches were 90-91. They feel more like 93-94. I know that's not a big difference, but
he is humming it in there for sure. 2-1 is in there for strike number 2. So the runners Santiago and Marcewicz are now at second and third. So a chance for the Diamond Dogs to play a couple. If Collado could deliver here. 2-2 is flipped on, and Collado got a piece of that one. That was a sharp breaking ball. Just the catcher Bowen could not hold on to it. The 2-2 is hit high and foul. So the count will remain 2-2 here.
a good fight by Collado. And Paniagua, you know, with 2 strikes, and after all these foul balls, he's really going for the strikeout here.
The 2-2, and that is like he did go. They will check. Oh, no. So the home plate umpire will make the decision. He'll say Collado went around. It's a strikeout for Paniagua. And now that'll bring up Lee Anthony Santiago, the last chance for the Diamond Dogs.
Santiago.
See what Lee Anthony can do here and potential last at bat. He swings through that fastball. That was a good one. The 0-1 upstairs. The 1-1 is fouled away. Diamond Dogs down to their final strike. I don't know if that one hit a car or not. Didn't sound like it. The 1-2 flipped on. That's fouled high or hit high. Left fielder Moises will come down with it, and that will conclude things here tonight. The Leesburg Lightning end up taking the series after a 7-1 victory here tonight. It was aided by a 6-run, 6th inning where after Riley Kuhar provided the Diamond Dogs with 5 strong innings, things sort of got out of hand in that 6th inning. The Diamond Dogs dropped to 6-24. Vic, just any final thoughts?
A really sound game from the Lightning. Really only 1 inning besides this 1 inning, but it seemed like even though Peniago got into some trouble, it felt like he had it the whole time. It was really just that 4th inning where James Hill struggled getting 2 in scoring position with nobody out, but he bared down, allowed just the sacrifice fly, and stranded a couple runners on the base pass. He did a fantastic job. The defense was absolutely amazing for the Lightning, and the bats, again, 13 base hits and 7 runs, and that, 6 innings or 6th inning where they exploded. I mean, 6 different guys scored, and they just stranded 2 on the base pass. Just such a great job from them all around, and a tough night for the Diamond Dogs, but just how it goes sometimes.
Yeah, so it's been a tough season for Winter Park. They will get an off day tomorrow, and then they play DeLand on Monday, and then go to Leesburg for Tuesday. Again, this is going to be the final week of the Florida Collegiate Summer League until the playoffs, so it will all wrap up next week. But for your final here, the Lightning score 7 runs on 13 hits, no errors. Diamond Dogs score 1 run on 6 hits, 1 error. For my partner, Vic Maslia, I'm TJ French saying so long and good night.